Check, check. 1, 2. Right. Welcome aboard this South African Airways A320, brought to you by Fenix. We're currently located, or rather positioned, at OR Tambo International Airport here in South Africa. This is the second stream of the day as we make our way northwards to Vic'Falls International Airport, where later today during yet another separate stream, I plan on hopping into lighter aircraft and explore the Victoria Falls area, as I yesterday installed new scenery that was on a 50% discount on the Sim Market page or website, specifically introducing a more detailed rendition of the waterfall, in addition to a bunch of helipads, and I think there's a bush strip included as well. So very exciting, at least for me. I felt that instead of just jumping straight to that destination, or jumping straight over the falls, it's more exciting, if that's the right word, to build a little bit of anticipation by working our way up to the destination by starting here in South Africa. For those that missed it, we started things off in the TBM 850, flying from Bloemfontein and landing at Lanseria, which is an airport not too far away from this one. After which point we then jumped into the A320. So again, welcome to anyone that might be joining me. As mentioned, this is the Fenix A320. We all know the Fenix A320. I think most of us love the Fenix A320. Today we'll be flying the Zulu Sierra Zulu Juliet model of the South African Airways fleet. Really hoping, or really looking forward to I think it's the IAG engines that are going to be released soon. As I think that's the particular or the more specific type of engine that the South African Airways airline used. But until then, we will make do with the current engine variant on offer. Anyways, flight plan has been filed. I think let's get the fuel truck out here. Well, actually, let's first start things up and then get the aircraft refueled. I'm not going to be narrating each and every little step. I feel like that throws me off and gets me too much into my head here. So yeah, just follow along, and any questions, I mean, if anyone decides to actually watch me live for a change, feel free to pop a question in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. So yeah, let's get going. Let's get the batteries on here, 1 and 2. We do want to check to make sure that the voltages of the batteries are adequate. We are already connected to external power, or at least the generator is connected to the aircraft, so let's tap into that and get the rest of the aircraft set up here.
Aircraft until the fuel truck arrives and ask to do it.
Okay, while the aircraft go through its self-test actuate. Let's get the IRS units online here. That's not related to what I did here, that's just the aircraft waking up. So apparently you need to do it in, I mean you don't have to do it in order, but it's good to do it one by one so that you can check the on-bat status like go on and off to make sure that system's working correctly. Once that's going, we're going to get the aircraft's FMC configured. So initialize it, we're going from FAOR to FVFA. Right. So there, I love this animation, man. So there the refueling team is going to get the aircraft filled up for us. While they do that, we'll continue initializing the aircraft here. We're going to be SAA. Let me just load the flight plan up in my real world tablet here quickly. I'm going to have to just reset the app here. It gets a bit slow. So we don't have to input the flight number just yet. So IRS initialization, align on rev, confirm, good. Got that process going, and we've got our flight. Let's import from SimBrief here quickly. SAA 438. So I generally like to fly on a cost index of 50. Something beeped for some reason. I don't know what that is. Let's just quickly go in here quickly before the... Okay, we're getting there. What's doing this? I think it's the... Let's just do this quickly before GSX turns off. Okay, we're a little bit late. Massive balance. Yes, yes, we're getting there. So let's load the aircraft real time. And we might as well get GSX to load the passengers. Where's request boarding? So there they are, refueling the aircraft. You can hear it, and you'll also see the ticker count up there. We're not actually online yet. Let's get that fixed. So yeah, the axis that I use for the spoiler, yeah, let's just board the passengers. So yeah, the axis that I use for the SA 438, A320. Just logging online here quickly. Come on, Phil, please ensure. What's the issue here now? Why do I always get technical difficulties when I stream? Try and launch vPilot again, unless I maybe accidentally launched. Maybe I launched XPilot by mistake. Don't think so. No, I didn't. Come on, Phil. Please ensure that a flight is loaded. A flight is loaded. Goodness gracious. Anyways, we'll try that a little bit later. So yeah, the aircraft's being loaded up. It's being refueled. The IRS is aligning. Let's just get the weather for FAOR. Get the meter and the TAF, because why not? This is the initial loadout sheet. We'll go go back to the main page here, go to receive messages, check the weather information, and once again the weather's not receiving. I don't know why we're not getting weather anymore. The weather feature is not working anymore. I don't know why. A lot of things are not working for some reason. Anyways, so we'll be flying at 360, and the top of climb temperature it's going to hover around minus 47 mostly, so there you go. And if we check here, might as well do this for you guys via the app on the computer. Let's get Navigraph up for you here. Now Navigraph won't show. There. Okay. You should be seeing it now. So, this is the flight. Basically north all the way up to Vic'Falls. A little bit of a convoluted line there. I think we could have taken Otro-Curvasser, but Nissan was the one recommended to me as the SID, so we'll take that. I'll probably just do a direct to Edinburgh just to shorten things up for us if no air traffic control is online. Don't know why that won't sync. Anyways, we were gonna check the weather. So it's a little gusty here, but still cav okay. 22 degrees and 1023 for the weather. Wait, how are you guys seeing that? Okay, anyways. Let's set the QNH, the magic B key. There it is, 1023. You can see that the IRS has already aligned itself. So let's start inputting the flight plan here. So we'll be departing off of runway 03 left using the Nissan why is that not in? That's just so odd. I'm having so many technical difficulties right now. Very bizarre. Should be the Nissan 1 Alpha. Insert. And from there, we'll be taking, let's get the OFP back up here. Actually, I've got this nice little sim brief tool here so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So, I don't know why the flight plan didn't load as I constructed it. But anyways, UQ1, Impod, UT433, admits, UN309, Bonal, and yeah, it's going to be a direct 2, we're basically just gonna go straight to the ALS for runway 12. No transition. We'll self-vector ourselves onto the ILS there. Okay, so flight plan's in. We can just check that it makes sense. Basically, it's just straight out departure, a few miles out, go direct to Nissan, and then continue on the rest of the way. Bonal, and then from there we will decide what to do. Yeah, we'll just leave the discontinuity there to remind me that we need to deal with that ourselves. So we'll just wait for the updated load sheet. But it sounds like the passengers are all boarded. Okay, so we are refueled. And according to the flight plan, we need to have a block fuel of 7,900 kilograms. So there we go. With the passengers all boarded, I can imagine it's probably getting a little bit warm back there. So let's get the air conditioning going. Ooh, okay, it's 33 in the cockpit. So let's get a little bit of fresh air in here for us. But it's 25, 27, so it's warming up. Not crazy hot, but yeah, probably a good time to get the the APU online. So let's test the fire warnings here before we actually turn it on. So you can see, we're waiting for that APU flap to open. But you can see that it starts to immediately get cooler for us the second we open the window up, which is quite cool. As the flap is open, we're going to start the APU. Let's go out to the back of the aircraft here and see if we can listen to it starting up. Oh dear. We've only now getting the cargo pallets. So they're only now starting to load the bags. Okay, so while we wait for the APU to run up, we have to allow it to warm up a little bit before we connect to the bleeds, at least. Okay, APU is available. We will just check to make sure it should be on automatically, yeah, but it will prioritize the external power, so we'll leave the external power on. You can see we're pulling from the external power even though we are getting output from the APU. We are pulling from the external power. As soon as we disconnect it, we'll jump over to the APU. Okay. What am I missing? The performance information. Just waiting for that updated load sheet, and we can pop that into the aircraft's computers. This is basically the initialization page here that I need to fill out. But until then, yeah, that's pretty much all there is for us to do with regards to the McDo for now. Just wait for the updated load sheet, but yeah, we are still technically loading. Well, technically we are. Okay, so I think that's good enough. We're going to go over to the APU. You can see we are now on the APU. Nothing turned off, which is good. And you also heard, or would have heard, the GPU RPM become less. The GPU went softer because we're not drawing power from it anymore, which I think is so amazing how realistic that is. Okay, we can go ahead and close the window here. Have it get a little bit quieter, and we're going to connect the APU bleed so we can start getting some AC going here for everyone. As you can see, it's now already 29, so it's definitely building up. You should hear the ventilation systems come online. While we wait for them, there they come. It's good. I don't know, some arbitrary frequency here just to check. Make sure that my radios are still connected to the network. Oh, I'm not connected to the network. That's the thing. Yeah. Let's see if we can connect to the network now. Why won't it detect the SIM? I just find that very odd. Okay, looks like it's working now. Check. Okay, good. So looks like the radios are working. We're not connected to the network. Hope the flight plan is still active. (128, 1215), and like I said, I like to go 2200. I think I read somewhere that that's the sort of generic squawk for VATSIM if you are IFR but uncontrolled. Okay, quite nicely. It's starting to get cooler for everyone. That's good. Oh, they're finished. One pallet there. In the back there. I mean, in front. The camera that some Airbuses have in reality. Okay, so yeah, that's good. We're just about ready to go. Should have a checklist here. Okay, so we're refueled. Everyone should be in their seats, so we're going to just tell everyone to take their seats. Yeah, for now I think that's it. Got a checklist here on my tablet. I'll just call it up quickly just to be proper. So cockpit preparation, the battery is obviously on, interior lights are as they should be, the chocks are still set, parking brake is set. You can see the chocks are still in place, the parking brake is set. We should see an accumulator for the brakes, yeah, there. So I think it's too low now. If we were to release the parking brakes, I mean the chocks, and we were not on level ground, I think we'd roll back. I don't think the brakes would be holding us right now. So, yeah, I don't know if you have to do it, but yeah, you can turn on the yellow pump, if I'm not mistaken. The electrical pump here, and it should charge the brake system. So just because I don't want the PTU to scream at the passengers just yet, let's turn it on and see if that works. Yeah, so there the accumulation pressure is going up. PTU back to order. Okay, anyway, so chocks, brakes, wipers, anti-skid. Most of these things are left in the on position by default. Landing gear lever is down. We're seeing 3 green lights. Thrust levers are idle. The engine masters are off, as well as the mode selector is on norm. Weather radar, PWS, that's all off. And the Flaps are 0. The spoilers are disarmed and retracted. The transponder standby. The TCAS is on standby. Electrical power, we are on APU. Aiders are on nav. Ground control is on. Crew supplies on. Air conditioning is required. Nav and logo lights are on. No smoking lights are auto. Majestic lights are armed. ECAM recall status is checked, so we can go to the recall here and see that it is on normal, or that is showing normal. Radio panels are set. We can probably set the nav radios. Nah, we'll leave them to automatic tune what they need to tune. Fire tests have been performed and the lights have been checked. Circuit breakers are all in. The gear pins and covers have been removed. Okay. So, still don't have a load sheet, but we're going to go and tell them to prepare for pushback here. Everyone should be on board. So, boarding completed. Let's prepare for pushback and departure. Yes. So there goes the door, and we should see the air bridge move past, and there the, I don't know if you call him the flight dispatcher or whatever, but yeah. So he's carrying the gear pin. He's going to pop that into the gear so that it makes it able for them to move or turn the nose wheel without input from us. We're going to prepare the aircraft for pushback here. So we're going to hold on the thing. Oh, we also need to tell them to disconnect the external power here. And they go ahead, remove the chocks.
Departure checks completed. Bypass plan inserted.
So, APU bleed is on, the barrel reference is set, the fuel quantity has been checked, takeoff data. Still waiting for, if it's not going to show by the time we need to push, we're going to use the, actually let's just use the tablet here for now. So we're going to pop in the 0 fuel weight. Okay, so it's going to be nose left.
Locking gear.
Alright, so we're going to quickly take the 0 fuel weight 57. We're just going to use 57. And the 0 fuel weight CG is going to be 31.3. And the block, block fuel is 7.9. And that's
Release parking brakes, please.
take off in. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and pop in the beacon. And we'll finish the rest of that later. Take out those seatbelt signs are on, windows, doors closed, ground equipment, external power, fuel pumps, accumulator pressure is checked, parking brake is on, thrust lever is idle, transponder order, beacon lights on, and we can go.
Release parking.
Yeah, right, relax. Brakes released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Johannesburg, correction, OR Tambo, traffic, Springbok 438, gate Alpha 2 pushing back and starting up for the taxi to runway 03 left. Johannesburg, traffic. Off we go. The pushback sometimes misbehaves, so let's see how that goes. But yeah, we are good to start, so we're going to go to ignition start, and we're going to start engine 1 and then 2. Wait for the bleeds to die down, and engine 1 to start. My co-pilot will monitor that while I get the rest of the performance information in here. Dry, we're going to use 1+F, not going to force toga, anti-ice off, packs will be on, sync the load sheet, sync the weather, and I believe that's it. Calculate. So yeah, preferably do this before you push back.
Please set parking
What was that?
brakes.
Okay. Parking brake set.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
Alright, wait for the available, and then we're going to go and start the second engine. Here it is, starting number 2. And we're going to go ahead and pop in this information. So 144 and 146. It's going to be flaps 1 down 0.2. Flex temperature is going to be 54. And that's it. Flight plan is in. Initialization page is complete. And the performance information is in. Looks like we're not getting our load sheet anytime soon. So we're going to just put performance. Sorry. Yeah, performance there. The flight plan page there. And wait for the available light to come on. Also watching the guy outside. There's the gear pins. I see them. Okay, we're going to put that to normal. So he's removed the gear pins for sure. And there's the wave. We'll wave goodbye to him as well. Okay, so after takeoff check, so we're going to first configure the aircraft. Flaps 1, arm the spoilers, arm the speed brakes, and we're going to do our flight control check. So down, so you can see automatically the flight control page comes on, and we can cycle through our flight controls. Also like to watch them, so ailerons are working. Right, you can see that that's how they show up on the display, and we can check the rudder. Okay, and we're going to just disconnect the rudder from the pedals so that we can taxi without moving the thing, the rudder pedals, the rudders. Leads off, master off, and I'm going to call for taxi. So yeah, over Tampa traffic, Springbok 438, main apron, taxi to only short runway 03 left, over Tampa traffic. We're 438, right? I keep forgetting. Okay, yeah, we are. So brakes released. And off we go. Give it a little bit of power. And off we go. Taxi lights are on. We've announced our intentions. The APU will shut down in its own time. Yeah, what I should have done was do the after start checks first before moving. But anyways, here we go. Parking brake was on, engine mode sector normal, APU bleed air off, anti-ice is off. Flight controls has been checked, spoilers are armed, flaps are set for takeoff, 1+ F. Rudder trim is 0, pitch trim as required, that's automatically set. Brakes, pressures, we can check, I guess. We're just going to test the brakes here. Brakes are at least working. Yeah, but anyways, the accumulation pressure is fine. And so I'm not sure if it's still a thing, but the taxiways down there are unserviceable or something, so we're gonna just, they were for the longest time, so we're gonna taxi the way they did last time I checked, and that was we have to cross the runway, taxi on the other side of the runway to the holding point. Clear on the left and clear on the right. I hope this is correct. Over Tambo traffic, Springbok 438, crossing runway 03 left at Lima. We'll report clear next. Over Tambo traffic. Alright, with that, we can turn on the strobes and just double check again that there's no one coming or going. Don't have my chart open here. Yeah, just gonna. So yeah, it is Lima, and we're going to continue via Charlie and Juliet to start our runway. Now, I think they were working on the taxiways down there, so for the longest of time, aircraft were routed in this way to the start of this runway. We're just going to slow ourselves down here for the turn. Okay, back to the check. So, rudder trim, pitch trim brakes, ECAM status. We just need to do the takeoff configuration check. It's normal, and we're going to let everyone in the back know that we're about to take off. They need to take their seats. Cam status and exterior lights are as required. So for now, strobes are off. Everything else is there. We can extend the landing lights for now. We'll turn them on once we turn onto the taxiway, onto the runway. So yeah, quick little brief. It's not going to be real world. I'm not a real world pilot, but I'm going to say that it's going to be a flat 1 departure off of runway 03 left via the Nissan 1 Alpha departure. I'll be obviously the pilot flying. If anything happens before 80 knots, I'll abort the takeoff by stating abort, bringing the power levers to idle and idle reverse, and yeah, manual braking if the auto brakes did not disengage. Anything serious happens before, or even not so serious happens before V1, I'll still abort. I don't know why I did 80 knots. Basically, anything happens before V1, I'll state abort and chop the throttles, engage reversers, confirm that the speed brakes are deployed and that the auto brakes have been engaged, or auto brakes are working, and I will then obviously take over manually if necessary. Anything happens after V1, we take the emergency into the air and we deal with it as necessary. Better that we come back on runway 03 right, so we'll make a right-hand turn out for a right circuit, and probably come in for a visual approach from runway 03 right if necessary. Right, that's it. Departure brief is complete. Let's go. So let's turn on. Get the radar on. Let's get the strobes on, and let's go. OR Tambo traffic, Springbok 438, lining up departing runway 03 left, Nissan 1 Alpha departure. OR Tambo traffic. Again, no one's coming or going. I tend to always forget to do the stopwatch, so we're going to do it a little bit earlier today and start the timer. Okay, it's going to be a rolling takeoff here. Windstock confirms that this is still the favorite runway. Don't see anyone coming or going. Alright, let's bring the thrust levers up to 50%. Engine stable. Line SRS. Runway. Oh wait, that's not... Yeah, that's the right setting, right? Or is that climb? I think that's the right setting. I don't know why. I don't think I've flown the Airbus in a long time. Alright. So we're approaching V1 here. Ooh, that sounds cool. V1 and rotate. A little bit of a crosswind from the left. Go. We're up. Center the pedals. Positive rake, you're up. We're going to go under the autopilot early just to get some wing views here for us. This sounds great. Alright, so did I put this in the right detent? Yes, I did. Sorry, I thought for some reason that was the climb detent. Okay, there we go. We've been told to bring the lever to the climb detent here. Very bumpy, very gusty today. But when the weather in-game actually matches the METAR, it's really cool. Let's keep an eye out on our speed so we don't overspeed the flaps. Although apparently the flaps would go up on their own if we did overspeed the flaps. They changed the sounds again. I remember being this quiet in the back. Very bumpy. Okay, we've already crossed the transition altitude, so we're just gonna pull for standard here. So we can go to 1013. Watching the airspeed. Okay, there we go. The flaps can come up, so let's go watch that. Flaps coming up. Start our turn to the left. There we go. Very bumpy. Hopefully we'll get into smoother air soon. I'm going to keep everyone seated, including the flight attendants. Turn off the... I forgot to put the nose on takeoff, but it's fine. Turn off, the taxi lights are off. Everything else is showing as it should. After takeoff checks, exterior lights as required. Landing gear is up and no lights. Thrust levers are in climb. Mode selectors are normal. We can disarm the spoilers, and the auto brakes disarm automatically. Flaps are 0. Packs are on. Anti-ice as required. ECAM status is checked, and that's the off takeoff to the line. It's 10,000 feet. I mean, we can leave the landing lights on for a little bit longer because the airport itself is at 5,500 feet. Okay, I suppose we are accelerating now, so let's bring them up. It looks like a little bit smoother air, so we're going to release the cabin crew so that they can do their thing. So I'd say that's the light situation set, so exterior lights as required. Barrier reference is standard. ECAM status is once again check, just the seatbelts to go. And yeah, we can see that the cabin is indeed pressurizing. And off we go to Victoria Falls. That is, let's see what airport that is. That would be Swartkop. That's actually an Air Force base. I actually didn't think Swartkop was that small. Interesting. Bring up the charts here for us. Yeah, I didn't update this guy yet, but we are flying Nissan 1 Alpha. There you can see. Flying past Bloem Airport. Airport I flew from yesterday, really nice little airport. We'll be a Nissan. And yeah, I think we'll just go straight to Edmund. I don't see any air traffic control on the line, so we're free to play around with our routing. Yeah, no ATC yet. Alright, I think it's relatively smooth now, so we're going to bring the seatbelt signs off. The passengers relax, but we'll encourage them to keep their seatbelts on in case we encounter any unexpected turbulence. Beautiful little mountain range down there that leads to the Artebiespoort Dam, which is a small dam there just to the north of Johannesburg. Apparently quite picturesque. Right, so we're going to Nissan now. Yeah, let's wait for us to level out from this turn, and then we'll tell it to go direct to Edmund, which is the exit point, or at least the point where we transition from South African airspace into Botswanian airspace. To Edmund. There you are, and go. Maybe skip out that random little dogleg in the route. And jump onto what is virtually a straight line all the way to destination. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, as far as the checklist is concerned, it's descent approach checklist next, so done with the checklist. Well over 100 miles away. Right, I am gonna take a bathroom break, so please excuse me while I go. Actually, what I really just want to do is get myself something to drink. Some nice ice cold water would do the trick. I've been doing way more talking than I normally do this time of the morning. So I'll leave you in this view, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. And we're back. And we're just about to reach our cruise level. So at about 18,000 feet, I like to just do a double check on the pressurization system, make sure everything's still working. And it's looking good. Still don't have any issues per se. Yeah, we're actually approaching it mid now. I used to miss the progress page that you would get in the Boeing 737 when I'm flying the A320. And you can actually see that, or it was only the other day that I realized that by hitting the report button, you actually get the more traditional version of the progress page as you would find it in the 737, except it's slightly different, but it's more to what, you know, I'm used to in the Boeing. There we go, we're approaching 36,000 feet. Decent crosswind from our left. This is not a headwind. No more pages there. Should see the aircraft go into, I don't think it has a cruise mode, I think it stays in climb. Okay, there the FMC just turned over to cruise, so that's, I guess, its official cruise mode that we're entering now. Maintaining an impressive Mach 0.79. And a respectable ground speed of about 450 knots. Don't really use this guy or need him anymore, so we'll hide that. I hope you don't hear me folding my mic every time I take a sip. I'm getting annoyed with having to mute the mic just to take a sip. So yeah, I think I've flown the turn on the volume on my side. I think I've flown the Fenix A320 enough on this channel so that I don't have to go into too much detail about what it is that I'm doing. I feel like my stream personality is very different to my off-stream personality when I'm flying. Which is a shame. I decided to stream because I felt like some people might appreciate my style of flying, and my style doesn't really come through when I stream. It's like I become too aware of the fact that I'm streaming, and I feel like I need to be entertaining. I can mumble sometimes as well. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I have a relatively deep voice, that unless I'm like consciously enunciating and, you know, opening my mouth properly, I feel like people can't hear what I'm saying sometimes. So as I continue to stream, I'm gonna, I think, speak less and just fly. And I think the conversation will progress naturally from that. I don't know. Let's see. Do we have any viewers joining us at this time? Nope, it is just me, myself, and I talking to the wall. That says one watching, but I think that just might be me checking the stream via my cell phone. Anyways, it is what it is. But yeah, for anyone that might be joining, you know, watching this later as a recording. And if you're not familiar with flight simulation, welcome. This is a hobby that I'm sure thousands of people around the world engage in. I wouldn't be surprised if it's hundreds of thousands of people. I'd say most of us, when it comes to free time, prefer to do this. I do sometimes wish that I had an obsession of, or I wish I had a hobby that was a little bit more physical. For the most part, I am just sitting in front of a computer screen, watching the clouds go by. But yeah, I can't explain it. It's just something special about flying an aircraft. It's something I've always wanted to do in reality, but unfortunately never had the opportunity to do it. So I do it virtually, and it's something I can't help but do. Whenever I have free time, I cannot help but turn on the PC and start flying. I guess there could be worse things I could be doing with my time, although this in itself isn't a very productive hobby. But I guess hobbies don't necessarily have to be productive, or at least if a hobby brings you joy, maybe that's all the productivity a hobby needs to give or yield. Either way, this is what I spend most of my free time doing. And I feel like, having been doing this for, I think it's safe to say, at least 20 years now, 2 decades, I feel like I'm quite well informed when it comes to flight simulators and things aviation in general. 20 years of obsessively, you know, researching and engaging in this hobby has given me, you know, an insight into aviation that I think would be comparable to, you know, most pilots out there, even professional pilots. I'm not saying that I'd be able to fly something like this in reality, but you know, definitely I could follow what the pilots are doing. I mean, if you ever watch these videos on YouTube of these in-cockpit flight videos, you know, it never ceases to amaze me how accurately simulated a lot of the aircraft for Flight Simulator are, how well I'm able to follow along with the pilots, knowing exactly most of the time, knowing exactly what it is that they're doing. But yeah, 20 years. Would have loved to have done it for real. Not a day goes by that I don't wish I could do it for real, but you know. Apart from Microsoft Flight Simulator, I do fly other simulators. And for that reason, I do plan on streaming flights in other simulators. I don't normally speak like this. I'm just really self-conscious of what I'm saying because I'm streaming. What I'm trying to say is that look out for future streams in different simulators, because I don't just fly in Microsoft Flight Simulator, I also fly a lot in DCS, although I have too many modules. If I could put it that way, like I'm struggling to remember how to fly all the aircraft that I've acquired for DCS over the years. So I'm trying to find time outside of, you know, when I fly in Flight Simulator to teach myself how to fly the aircraft properly before I start streaming. Although maybe it might be worth streaming a session or two of me learning to fly something, but then I guess someone could technically learn to fly with me. That might be something to consider. Excuse me. But for those wondering, yes, I also do fly in X-Plane. I just have not done so in a while. I mean, since Microsoft Flight Simulator started actually getting good, it's been very difficult to go back to X-Plane. I still maintain X-Plane is the best flight simulator for, you know, physics simulation, so the aircraft actually feel like they're moving through the air, that you're actually controlling something that's moving through the air, through an atmosphere. But sorry, I just can't get around the lack of this wonderful, you know, scenery, this satellite photo realistic scenery of the world outside. I mean, just to be able to look out the window and know that that roadway that I'm seeing out there right now exists in reality. That those hills down there look pretty much exactly like that in reality, because this is all photographic imagery taken from satellites. So, you know, while you are able to implement satellite imagery in X-Plane, it is a headache to do so, at least for me. And it takes up a tremendous amount of space on the hard drive. Not that this doesn't take, but I mean, if I had to now choose between the two, you know, having it done automatically for me by the simulator versus me having to individually place image tiles into the sim and still have to troubleshoot a little bit, you know, find the right source of imagery so that the images aren't, you know, covered in clouds. Because that's the issue, right? I mean, to find images of the Earth where there aren't any clouds obscuring the terrain. Otherwise, it's going to look like, you're going to look at the terrain, you're going to see, in addition to a photo of a road, you'll see a photo of cloud. That looks very odd. Just too much work, man. Just a lot easier to load up Flight Simulator and take it from there. But I do still have X-Plane installed. In fact, I have X-Plane 12 now. I've upgraded to X-Plane 12. I've only got a few airports for it, like I think like 4 or 5 airports, maybe 4. No, 5 I think. I've got Frankfurt, Heathrow, London City, and then I got 2 airports in Alaska. Irony is I haven't even flown to most of them. But I do want to do a stream in the Q400. I really miss flying the Q400. It's probably the best turboprop simulation available. On top of, I would say, Hot Start's TBM, which, as far as I'm aware, is not yet compatible with X-Plane 12. But I think it'd be a cool flight to do from Frankfurt to London City Airport in the Q400. Problem is I don't remember how to fly the Q400. I'll have to do a couple of flights to refresh my memory before I stream. But yeah, maybe I'll try and get myself to do that next week. Flying gets done on my off days, obviously. I do have a day job. And even on my off days, I don't necessarily feel like streaming because of how I get, how self-conscious I get, how idiotic I sound. But yeah, I do really want to get the channel up and running. And I want to try and get a little bit more natural while streaming, because I really feel like I could contribute to the YouTuber flight simulator or flight simulation ecosystem, especially when I start doing reviews. I want to start pre-recording aircraft reviews. I've said it for a while now, but it's a lot more work than I expected, and it's a lot more difficult, especially when you're really self-conscious about what you're saying and how you're saying it, to say what you need to say in a organic, natural sounding way. I feel like it's also a bit too late, you know. You kind of have to jump on the bandwagon along with everyone else. I mean, recently that FSR 500 or whatever it is, 550, it's a turboprop that looks very similar to the TBM. I think it's made by Piper. I was thinking of getting it and trying to stream a first impression video, but I don't know, man. Like, I'm not yet at a place where I can buy aircraft I'm not 100% sold on. I mean, don't get me wrong, I have bought a few duds, aircraft that I'm not happy with and that are collecting dust in the hangar right now. I really wish I could exchange back for my money, but yeah, generally speaking, I tend not to buy aircraft for the sake of buying aircraft. But yeah, I've got quite a few aircraft in the hangar, maybe more than I should, and it's probably time I, you know, dust some of them off and try and get a review out there. Like I said, I really feel like I could contribute something. I've watched many reviews from the more well-known YouTubers, and you know, I feel like, I mean, believe it or not, but I feel like I could be just as good, if not better, than some of them. Some of them you can see are really just, I mean, I hate to call them casual simmers, because I guess we all are at the end of the day, but you know, they fly the aircraft completely, like, they just have like no sense. Some of them just seem like they'll jump into a turboprop and they'll just you'll clearly see they have no idea how to fly a turboprop. And you know, coming from someone that isn't a pilot and that knows, I'd say, enough about turboprops to fly them semi-accurately, I find it surprising that you know, a well-known YouTuber would struggle or wouldn't know quite how to fly the aircraft that they are reviewing. And for someone that's more of a purist like me, I find that a little bit frustrating to watch them abusing the aircraft as they're reviewing it. Again, I'm not saying I do things perfectly, especially when I stream. It's like my aptitude for flying, you know, gets thrown overboard for some reason. But yeah, hopefully with time, as I do this more, things will become more natural, and I might be able to start providing some value streams out there. But for now, I guess you could consider these as practice streams. Trying to feel my way around it. Right, let's call up the flight plan here. We're coming up to Atuku. I think now would be as good a time as any to do a fuel check. Okay, you should be seeing the chart, so we can go to the View SimBrief OFP here, which is quite nice. Actually, I could have done it in that other plugin, but anyways. We're here now. Let's look for Atuku. You can see predicted fuel burn and actual fuel burn, and the pilots in reality would be writing down the actual fuel number. We're going to be looking at estimated fuel on board versus actual fuel on board. So we're coming up over Atuku, which is over here. So our estimated fuel on board needs to be around 5 tons. If it's significantly less, we'd have to question why that would be. So we look here and we can see, we are 5.4 tons. Or we are at 5.4 tons, which means we are just under 400 kilograms of fuel in excess. You see how weirdly I say things when I'm trying to think about how I'm saying things? But what I'm trying to say is we have 360 kilograms more fuel than what we need to have on board. And that's probably due to the little detour that we took earlier. Which has saved us a little bit of fuel and time. So let's see, how far is Bonal from here? It looks like it's 75 miles. Bonal, the distance remaining, this is about 91. Because it's measuring it from that to, no, it should be, yeah. According to the chart, it's 75. That's confusing. If it's 91, then we can basically start our descent at Bonal. let's tune in Vic'Falls here on nav2. So go to nav-rad. Vic'Falls is VFA. That would be the 1167 guy. So we've hard tuned that to LVOR. We still don't have it yet, a bit too far from it. I'm trying to figure out when we can start our descent. So I think what we'll do is just remove that discontinuity here. Join it up with the final approach fixed there. Insert. It should be able to calculate a point of descent for us. Now why it has, I don't know, there's some weird things are happening. Anyway, so I would like to be at the very least at about at most 180, and we want to be, sorry, let me just call up this chart. Oh dear. No, did I just unload the flight plan? I hope not. Final approach altitude is going to be 5,000 feet. So, yeah. It says be above 5,000. Let's be at 5,000 there. Alright, select desired system. What? What is going on here? Yeah, okay. That seems right. Insert. What was that about? Why did that like reset the FMCs? That's weird. Now we should have, what the hell's that? I don't know what's going on here. Something really weird. It doesn't like that for some reason. Why is it not planning? I don't understand what's going on here. I've never had this issue, and I've flown this plane like 100 times. What is this? Oh. That's so bizarre. Okay, let's just redo this. It's going to be our approach here. Let's insert that. I don't know if I'm doing that right, but anyways. Arrival with the ILS, no star, and no VIA. I think that's what the issue is. There we go. Now I think it's looking a little bit more doable. We will just get rid of that discontinuity. And yeah. There we go. Okay. I think, yeah, we messed up the flight plan there. Things got lost in translation there, but yeah, now we've got the top of descent there. Like I said, around Bonal is where we're going to, or where I'd like to start our descent. So yeah, there it is. That's great. Things are making sense again. Amazing scenery, man. It's like a little, tiny little island there. That'd be so cool to fly to. I don't know why. It just would be. It just would. It's like no airport around us. Like a 80-mile radius. Excuse me. Alright, so we're about 60 miles from our top of descent, so we can start preparing for our arrival. Let's call up the proverbial charts. So, will be the ILS approach. We'll go straight to the final approach fix, but we'll self-vector ourselves onto that. Basically go to Bonal and, you know, hit a downwind. I mean, if we wanted to be silly, we could, let me just call up the charts on my thing here, but why don't we let's see. Hit MT. After Bonals would be the 260 NDB. Bonal empty. Exobo. I apologize if the charts are maybe hiding what I'm doing. Exobo. Then we jump onto initial approach fix. Before we execute that, let's see what that looks like. And that kind of looks like a cute little downwind or like traffic pattern. So speed brake. What's wrong with my, this thing's axis is funky. Why is it doing that? Wait, let me just get rid of this thing's speed brake axis. Or something is interfering with... Why is it doing that? It doesn't seem to have this issue in my other... Why can't I see... Why is it doing that? When is this thing so faulty? Get rid of it, and then I'm gonna have to look for something else that can give me spoiler access. Let's see. use the one of the quadrants. Or maybe we should just do like a new one. How do I? Create a new one. I'm just gonna call it. Wait, cancel. Is this the right one? I don't think this is the right one. We need this one. So you need to go off. Sorry about this. So we'll go to this guy, and let's just go to create a new one. I'm just gonna call it spoiler. And we're gonna call spoiler axis. I hope that, yeah, my hopes were dashed. It's not, I need to invert or uninvert the axis. Alright, so I don't know why my poor little spoiler axis isn't working, or is glitching, but anyways. So yeah, basically we're gonna come off, go to empty, and it's like a rudimentary traffic pattern that I've created for myself here. I think that looks pretty nifty. Let's implement that. And I wonder, have we reached our point of descent yet? Not yet. Still coming. It's a little bit further now that we've extended the flight path there, which is fine. Oh, I just forgot. Probably left everything on the chart on everything here. But anyways, I think you get the point. So if I were to do this live, let's see if we could do this. Basically just, my internet is slow today. I can only imagine how crappy the stream is. Add this to root. And I want this to be after Bonal. And then add this one to root after MT. And that's essentially what we've constructed in our FMC now. The flight computer will round these corners out quite nicely for us and should put us on a nice final approach leg with the runway. Anyways, so just to complete the briefing, so this is what we plan on doing. So from Bonal we'll go to Mike Tango NDB, and to Xobo, then onto the final approach fix. Okay, we can review the chart here. We'll do category 1 approach, just because the weather should be good. So this is the information, the details. Final approach altitude will be 5,000 feet, the minimums. We could put in 3,700, let's do that. Let's call up the weather, shall we? So, the weather. Apparently they don't have weather for FVFA. Why is that the case? Anyways, we're gonna just use the neighboring airport's weather as it mentions in the chart. temperature. So it's significantly warmer over there than it was in Johannesburg. And the winds 030 at 10. Look, we're just gonna have to feel it out when we get there. Configuration will be full, and yeah, I'm happy with 136 for now. Okay. So that's how that's going to be our arrival as well as our approach. Missed approach will be runway heading as usual, 5 miles out, and we can make a U-turn back to VFA. But in actuality, we'll probably just make ourselves, set ourselves up for another right traffic. And maybe come in visually, why not? I suspect the weather is good for that. Okay, we have reached our final point on the flight plan officially. Making our way to our custom routing now. Thinking in Boeing terms now. Sorry about my throat. I don't think the AC is too good in this place. Right, so how long have we been flying for? Well, it's pretty much exactly an hour. Which ironically is about as long as the initial stream was. What are we doing with time? Because, yeah. Almost lunchtime. I might break for lunch and then come back and start the remaining stream. Question mark. So I'm going to try and get a print screen of the POIs. I might turn on the POI assist features in the simulator so we can make sure we don't miss anything. And we'll explore the Zambezi together. There's some cool things, really low level stuff I would say only the helicopters are suited for, so yeah. Stay tuned for some helicopter flying. I don't think I have a helicopter registered in Botswana terms. Alright, so we're just about gonna reach the top descent here, so let's set it for, let's say 10,000 initially. Let's start that descent, or at least arm it. So Zambia is 9J. Let's see if I can find something online. Okay, so as you've heard, the engines were brought back to idle. We're now almost a glider. This would be the more efficient way to descend an aircraft. To do so at such a point where you're able to just basically cut power to the engines, or at least bring them back to idle, and glide down to your destination, then you're not really using much fuel. Is it just me, or are we really high? I don't know why this thing planned our descent so late. I'd like to actually I feel this is really late, so I'm going to manually take over the descent rate here. Whoa! It's descending us at 4,000 feet. That's crazy. Let's ease off of that a little bit. To be around 10,000 feet, so we're not going to really abide by any speed restrictions, so I feel like it's maybe a bit late for that. Time to focus. I'm still looking for liveries for some of the aircraft I might fly after this. Let's go to local QNH here. And we're come out with some speed brake. Try and slow down here. This thing really, like, I should have probably spoon-fed it more information for the descent profile, because yeah, that was very poorly planned. I don't think I noticed that this thing stopped flying at idle a while ago. It was maintaining a really, I don't know if it was intentionally maintaining high speed like that. I don't know. Anyways. Passengers seated. Main lights can come out. Start preparing ourselves here. So let's see. We've got to do the descent checks. Okay, TCAS set to below. Landing data has been set. Alright, we need to be at 5,000. My bad. Come out on a little bit more speed brake action there. ECAM status checked. Power reference is set. Exterior lights as required. Tell the cabin crew to take their seats. And that we're about to land. Yeah, we're very close now. I think we might have to go around here. So distracted I am, I never announced anything. Vic'Falls traffic, Springbok 438 is 10 miles west of the field, descending through 7,000 feet for the Atlas approach runway 12, Vic'Falls traffic. Coming in hot. There's the airport. So we're going to level off now. As we do so, I'm going to bring the speed brake. Actually, let's leave the speed brakes on. Get LS mode going here. Leveling off. We're going to bring the speed brakes up slowly because we're decelerating very quickly now. Under 220 knots. Speed brake is up. First notch of flaps can come down. Alright, I'm going to arm the localizer. goodness. Let's bring down that little bit of flap still quickly. Come on, come on. Creep there, creep there. Okay, there's one dot. Approach is armed. Next bit of flap. We're going to bring the gear down at 180 knots now. There we go. And we're going to go down to, as the approach mode been armed? Yes. And we can go down to 136. Okay, it's going to be a little bit rushed here. I'm going to say we are clear to land. I'm just going to bring the next bit of flaps down. Vic'Falls traffic, Springbok 438, final approach runway 12. Vic'Falls traffic. Alright. Next bit of flap. We're going to say we're clear to land. All the lights are as they should be. We're going to arm spoilers, brakes, auto brakes are armed, and the final bit of flap can come down. Oh, that was the final bit of flap, my bad. Okay, cool. Alright, stable. And I think we made it before the 1,000 mark. I'll call.
1,000.
There it is. Great. Perfect. Autopilot disconnected. I'm gonna fly it in the rest of the way. Let's do the before landing checks while I do this. Cabin has been notified. Landing gear, flaps, spoilers are all down. Auto brakes is set. And the engine mode selector is normal. Exterior lights are as they should be. The go-around altitude is 5,000, and that is set. Okay, we're going a little bit low here. And the ECAM memo is showing no concerning flags. Oops, that was a weird little gust of wind there. All right. It's very gusty, like very thermally. Being pushed up and down here considerably.
Minimum.
Oh, there we lost lift again. It's very,
100.
very gusty. Going around.
40, 30, 10, 5.
Oof. We lost lift last second there. Alright. Flaps coming up to 1, I think you're up. And let's go. Yeah, flaps 2 is okay for now. Go flaps 1. And we're going to maintain the current heading. And we're going to maintain, I think we'll stick to 180 and we can keep this flap setting. Right? Why are you not slowing down? Oh. So I had it in go around mode. Still not working. Because we probably don't have the auto throttle on. Try again. Amateur hour, rev. 180 knots. That's what we want to hold here. Let's go to 210 for the crosswind. Vic'Falls traffic, Springbok 438, going around. We'll make right traffic for runway 12 visual approach at 5,000 feet. Vic'Falls traffic. Alright, so that was a very sloppy go around, but that could not be avoided. By that I mean the go around. That was very gusty. You can even hear the engines are struggling, the auto throttle is struggling to keep a constant thrust. I think I'll do a manual thrust landing there. So, yeah. That was not fun. Okay, so let's go to 300. Downwind. We'll stick to about 180 knots here. Luckily, I don't think we didn't overspeed the flap, so that's good. Spoilers are still armed. I'm just going to rearm them in case. and we'll rearm the auto brakes. We want to vacate right at the end. Yeah, what I could have done, or should have done, but didn't because the last bit of, we were playing catch up there towards the end, is put in our arrival information here. FEFA, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Runway 12, dry, weather, says none available. Let's just plan for 0 here. Three 016. Landing weight currently is this gets done by the flight computer, but yeah, it's good to cross-check for this guy. What is going on? 61.8. Goodness. We do low auto brake with full reverse. That takes us all the way to the end. I'm happy with that. So yeah, the original settings worked out. Vic'Falls traffic, Springbok 438, right downwind, runway 12, Vic'Falls. Alright, so yeah, the original low with the spoilers, and we're going to use reverse thrust, is still good to go. It is very gusty, and it looks like even a crosswind, so yeah, I'm going to take over manually. So that the thrust levers, the thrust isn't fluctuating as much as it is. Yeah, it was scary, like how quickly I dropped the last few feet. Like when the thought occurred to me that I should probably think about going around, the aircraft just dropped out of the sky. And yeah, I was tempted to yank that stick back to try and cushion that fall. It was I don't think it was it was so hard that it would have caused damage, but it was definitely a very firm touchdown. So yeah, let's just barrel reference set, ECAM status, barrel reference still 1014, ECAM is I think still showing normal. Well, I think we can already see the Vic'Falls scenery. That looks very odd. I wonder if it installed correctly. Or if it's just because it's far away, it's not rendering properly. Anyways, we'll find out soon enough after lunch. Let's take it to 030. So we'll activate the approach phase again. Give them a bing just to say we're gonna have another go at it. Should have set up for the hold, because if I don't make it this time, I'll probably consider diverting, but we'll see. I actually really need to take a pee break. Alright, so we're gonna go direct this guy. Boom. Turn to final here. The field in sight. 9 miles out. Localizer is active, so we're going to arm the localizer there. Localizer armed and captured. Waiting for the glide slope. For those not familiar with an ILS system, it's this magenta diamond and that magenta diamond. We try and keep them centered on the yellow lines there. This tells me I'm in line with the center of the runway. Glide slope is now active. Once this is there, it tells me I'm descending at the right path down to the runway. Apparently we need to wait until we're one dot above because you can get false glide slopes captured by the autopilot. So captured the glide slope there, confirmed. We can drop the wheels and come back to, I think it was 136. Gotta bring down next batch of flaps. Bit of flaps. Vic'Falls traffic, Springbok 438, final approach runway 12. Vic'Falls traffic. And the final bit of flaps. Before landing check, cabin is advised, landing gear, flaps, spoilers down, armed order brake as well. Engine mode, normal exterior lights as they should be. Go around altitude. Altitude is set. Ecam is landing no blue. We're going to go ahead and
1,000.
disconnect that, and we're going to disconnect the auto throttle, and we're going to come in on our own. And we should have actually had, and I think that was my mistake from before, is like an extra 5 to 7 knots added to the final approach speed there to compensate for any buffers, or I mean to add a little bit of a safety buffer there. We're a little bit
500. 100 above. Minimum.
land.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 5.
Ooh, bit of a floater there. But I think we're still good. Full reverse. Yeah, I'll make it easy. 80 knots, gonna start coming back on the reverse thrust. And I'll go back to idle. And we'll disconnect the auto brakes. We want to vacate right at the end, actually. I think that's the easiest access to the terminal. That was a nice landing. Nice touchdown. I think a gust caught me just before I landed and sort of gave me a bit of a float. But I think we're good. Yeah, I mean, I think we know we're good. I think they updated the airport because according to the chart, no, never mind, this is probably the one that we need to use. Okay, I'm gonna slow down here. Stow the reversers. So that master quash was just from the auto throttle that I disconnected. That one went considerably better. Okay, so this airport, to be honest, I was never really happy with. This is payware. It's, I think the only payware available for this airport. And it was quite disappointing, to be honest. More just because when you spawned in, okay, we're just gonna stop here. Actually, no, we got enough space to clean up and taxi. But when you spawn into this airport, you don't even get lined up properly with your you don't even get properly lined up with the air bridges, the air stairs. Which is really disappointing. But we'll say the airport has apparently received an update but because I don't have faith in those air stairs, they still look pretty dysfunctional to me. I don't know. Should we try it out? Nah. I'll test it out another day. Let's go. Let's park it right here in front of the terminal building. I guess this would be the old terminal building. AB bleak, come on. AP generator should be on. We still keep both engines running just to allow them to cool at their idle temperature. And I think we'll just use this line for shits and giggles. Suck those cones into our engine. Stop it right here. Shut down the engines. Good parking job from the inside of the aircraft, man. If you say so myself. That's a pity I didn't actually set this up as a thing. I wonder, does it even count as a... doesn't register this as a thing, but it would have been nice to make this like a walk-in thing. I can set it up still, I think. I'll set it up another time so that we can make this a parking bay and have them walk into the terminal. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I like that. Parking here. Look at that. Like right there. Welcome to Victoria Falls. And with that, I would like to welcome... I don't know why my voice cracked there. I would like to welcome anyone that may have joined me on this wonderful trip to Victoria Falls from Johannesburg, South Africa. Next up, well, for me, is going to be lunch. And thereafter, I'll be jumping right back into the sim here to explore the Zambezi River together. Don't know what aircraft I'll use yet, so let that be a surprise. I think what we'll do is we'll tour the scenery from a light fixed-wing aircraft, some sort of Cessna. Yeah, probably the Cessna, because it's a high-wing aircraft, so it'd be nice to... It's just nicer to look out the windows with, and from there we'll pick out spots that we might want to explore by helicopter a little bit later. And with that, I think that will be the end of the flying for the day, or if there's still time left in the day, I might make my way back to South Africa. So yeah, we'll see. Thanks again for joining me, even if it wasn't live. I hope to catch you in the next one. Give me about an hour and I'll be back for the scenic flight over the Zambezi.